Alrighty, and welcome to the It Almost Didn't Happen NOVAtazz Automotive Podcast number 24. Hopefully, you guys can hear me, you guys can see me, everything's set up because this was all last minute. Literally just got back from driving 3 hours to go pick up my girlfriend from a very long awake shift, and wasn't sure if I was going to be able to have a live stream tonight. But I didn't want to let you guys down, so I know this isn't my normal time. Normally, I am already an hour and a half into my live stream. But I wanted to make sure that at least got on here for a little while to hang out with you guys. So what's up? What you guys doing? How you guys been? Um, Let me know what you guys are doing out there. Oh, so anyway. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I posted on my my Instagram and Facebook, two main places that I post, that I am looking into starting to build the desk for the office. Um, so there's that. So I'm actually in the process of looking for some woodworking tools. What's up, Low Lid? I haven't seen you in a while. How's the Mercury? So in the process of looking for some woodworking tools, I'm thinking that by doing some woodworking on the side, because you don't know, I like customizing anything. I have done woodworking projects in the past. Um, some of them are up on the channel, some of them aren't. Some of them were before I had the channel. I've done woodworking projects in the past. It's something that I enjoy doing, and it's also cheaper than automotive content, so it's a good filler for in between automotive videos. Because of the fact that, unfortunately, right now I'm stuck needing to buy some pretty expensive parts for the projects, and it's holding me up. So I know I need to get some other stuff done. So I'm in the process of looking for a decent used router, possibly a router with a table, and definitely in the process of looking for a table saw, because I'm looking at doing a live edge, what they call epoxy river tables. But basically, I want to do a live edge wood table, an epoxy project. I actually need to build two desks, because I have this desk here, for right here, and then I also have the girlfriend's desk, which is over there, that I need to do as well. Both will be epoxy tables, but they will not necessarily be the same. Obviously, she has different tastes than I do, and her desk will be fit to what she needs and wants, and my desk is obviously going to be fit to my needs and wants. I've never done an epoxy. I've never worked with epoxy before, so it'll definitely be a learning experience for me. And obviously, that's something that I like doing. So, we will have some of our normal guests here. I'm pretty sure that Chris will pop on at some point, maybe. I know Big E will be here shortly. We may have some other people that you know too as well. You guys have any, you guys out there in chat land, do you guys have any experience with woodworking, or is it all automotive? Haven't touched the Mercury in months. Been putting in an ice cream shop. Debbie's new little tasty shop. Oh, that's cool. So I take it that's a lot of freaking carpentry skills right there. So I like customizing anything. I don't give a shit if it's wood, metal, artwork, cars, computer stuff. Doesn't matter. Am I too bright? I think I'm too bright. Let's see if I can turn this down a little. There we go. That looks a little better. That looks washed out now. I could do woodwork. I could understand not liking woodwork as far as like framing and things like that. But when it comes to like building things like furniture and stuff like that, I absolutely love it. But yeah. So this table here is going to be a pretty decent pretty cool looking concept. Want to try a few things out that I've seen. I don't know how well it'll come out, but we're going to give it a try. Worst case scenario is if it doesn't come out right, you start over. You know, failures or success, it's still content. It's still an experience, and you learn from your failures anyway. So, not afraid to tackle a project, and yeah, we'll see where it comes of it. So I think I'm finally on late enough for you to for you to be able to pop in, HoloLid. I think I've been like last week. I only filmed for like an hour because there was nobody in here, and chat died. Kind of ran out of topics to talk about, so I was only on for like an hour. I had some people say, "Oh man, I just missed it. I was just about to get on." The only problem with doing it later and later is, you know, I lose. Although I do gain some other people, I lose others because it gets too late. Like, probably a reason why a few of them aren't in here is because it is so late. Because normally they're already off the stream by the time 10:30 rolls around. Let's see if Stream Boss is doing anywhere. Yeah, I can bet that. That's part of the reason why I'm on so late is because doing what I do for a living, and with dealing with COVID and all that, our staffing is absolutely horrible, and so we end up having to pull a lot of hours that we weren't expecting. Like I said, I just picked up my girlfriend from work. She actually was on shift for 20, actually just about 23 hours awake straight, and not including the fact that she was awake for the whole day before she went into work. So she's been awake now for like 36 hours. And yeah, so I had to go pick her up and drive her home because there was no way she was driving anywhere tonight. Let's see. Is Stream Boss picking up anything? 55 hours at the day job and then all my evenings for her. But that's probably not 55 hours straight. My girlfriend didn't just work like 23 hours over a week. She worked 23 hours in the last 24 hours. So, yeah. She's a little beat. So, as customary, everybody that's hanging out with us right now will get an opening amount of credits. So let's see, CloudBot, loyalty bonus, points to all viewers. We'll go with 1,000. Boom. All right, 1,000 points for everybody. Though I did realize that I should actually be able to, not right now, but they just put it in there that I can now I can be able to stream to multiple accounts at the same time. Yeah, I have them up here, so I should be able to stream to multiple ones at the same time. We'll have to try that next week again, and see where that goes. All right, back to this one. Okay. So we don't have any new, like whenever a subscriber subscribes to my channel that has their subscriptions open, I will get a list of who joined in the last week. Don't have any new joins for the last week that have their subscriptions open. Though we are at 1,888 subs when I checked last. So we're creeping right up on 1,900 subs. I'm shooting for that 2,000 sub mark, man. I've been waiting for it for a while. We're creeping up on it. We're getting there. but not there just quite yet. Make sure that nobody popped in over here. Nope, nobody popped in. Let's see. We'll pop this one in here. But anyway, so there is that. I did start actually working on a video. I haven't had much time to work on it because of work and other things going on. It's not an automotive vehicle. It's a how-to video, basically about installing a portable dishwasher into a clothes washer dryer hookup. We happen to have one of those in our kitchen. We needed a spot to put the dishwasher. Couldn't make it all the way to the sink. So we ended up converting our portable dishwasher to hook up to one of these. And I didn't find anything online for it, so I'm like, might as well shoot a video for it. Nobody else has it, so we'll get that up here shortly. Like I said, I started working on that last week. Like I said, haven't had a chance to get back to it because of work and, you know, kid watching and everything else. So we'll get to it eventually, and we'll start getting back into filming. I still have the conclusion for the truck saga. That's still sitting on my to-do list. We'll get to that eventually as well. But this whole freaking stuff we're not supposed to mention that, you know, everybody around the world is dealing with. Yeah, it's kind of taken a big hit into 2020. Can't do very much. Haven't done very much. I actually haven't even been up to my cars since all this started. That just tells you, because my cars are sitting on a property with some older people, and I don't want to risk exposing them to something and then getting sick. That would not be something I want on my conscience. So, what's all involved with the ice cream shop there, Lolid? Is it like a complete remodel where you gotta basically start from scratch? Or is this something that was already an ice cream shop that you just gotta bring back up to snuff? Or tell me a little bit about it. Let's talk about it. Started with a portable shed. We had actually one of those around my place. We actually have one down where I used to live that literally looks like a giant ice cream cone. Bare bones. Yeah, at least then you can make it what you want. You don't have to start with what somebody else wanted and convert it. I feel like I'm leaning. Watching myself in I have actually 3 of me on screens here. I've got one here, and one over here. It's kind of funny. Oh, nothing like watching yourself talk. But yeah, I mean, granted, this isn't necessarily an ice cream shop, but it basically started from scratch as well. It's a completely different freaking animal, most likely. Apparently, nobody is on at the moment, apparently. Checking my social media. Sheetrock, insulated, electric, 4 sinks for health code, dig ditches. Yeah, I bet that sounds like a ton of work. Hopefully, be worth it in the end, man. I don't know if I'd be wanting to own a business right about now. I mean, it's kind of, I would think it'd be kind of dicey. Wondering whether or not, though, I have to say, the ice cream places around by where I'm at, they're hopping. They're one of the most hopping businesses around, so you might actually be in a good spot. Is it any different, health code-wise, having to deal with any new regulations for the current thing that's going around? Is that a difference? Do things change because of that? I don't know what it's like to be on that side of the that side of the that side of the fence. I mean, I know as a customer, some things are a little annoying. Open 3 weeks now. She's working every day, 10 hours a day. She did like $200. That's not bad, not bad. Though I don't know what her overhead is and how much she expects to make a day to be able to stay in the green. But I know that you don't really you're not really in the green your first couple of years. You're open anyway. It takes a little bit to get back into the green after you open a business. Uh, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I know that I've seen like certain things where obviously the plexiglass in front of the cashiers and stuff like that. Um, I know that you can only have so many booths in a set area. The booths have to be a certain space apart because of the COVID regulations. I mean, you can tell that just by going into any restaurant. Oh boy. Not sure if I have any automotive news. We can actually go look on Reddit to see if there's any new automotive news. This computer is so slow. Not my new one. This old laptop. All right, let's see. I don't think this is what I was looking for. Let's check this one. Oh, that's like so old. Man spends 17 years building his Lamborghini dream car in his basement. That's the one I'm thinking of. I mean, geez, I remember seeing that in like the early 2000s. It's low overhead in our backyard, which is right along a state road. She has about 20,000 in it, but nothing borrowed to do it. Okay, so yeah, at that point, it's just I mean, yeah, granted, you're not technically in the green until you've made back that 20,000, but uh, I don't see the link to. Oh, there it is. Uh, yeah, this is the one I saw from forever ago. Let's see what the original date. That's only 5 days ago. Sorry, I've seen this. These pictures are so old. Let's see. Yeah, this video is from 2017. So this video is 3 years old. And I remember seeing this long before that. It is a neat article, though. He actually had to knock out a wall in his basement to be able to get the car out of the basement. Can't wait to get back to work on my car. Winter seems to be more productive for a car. Yeah, I would say that too. I think mine would be more productive during the winter if the garage was at my house. Unfortunately, my garage is a half hour from my house at a family member's. It's actually a family member's personal garage that I use. Um, but again, it is still like a half hour away, so weather isn't always friendly with that is or time. Oh, that's just what that is. Dude, the funny thing is this Lamborghini is not actually a Lamborghini. It's a hand fabricated clone. It's a fully tubular chassis with a Lamborghini cloned body sitting on top of it. I think it does have actually a Lamborghini motor in it though. Maybe, maybe not. I have to read the article. Where's the stupid? There it is. Um, no, it's not even a Lamborghini motor. It's a Boss 351 Ford motor. So yeah, it has nothing much Lamborghini other than its looks, but it's still pretty cool. It's an really nice project that he did. Though I don't know, it's just Lamborghini-esque, not Lamborghini. Uh, Seen that already. Pretty dead night though. Still, only two people. One of them's probably me. Though I definitely do appreciate you hanging low lid. Um, the different time is probably why I don't have a whole lot of viewers tonight. Oh, it tends to happen. Let's see. Joy of driving something small. Bought an MR2 the other day. Come from a long line of German cars. My last one was a 435D, and I also used to have a fourth gen Firebird Formula, which is my dream car from when I was 14 years old. Yeah, I definitely. I wish I had one of those. Don't want a Formula though. I want a Trans Am. Fourth gen Trans Am, 98 to 2002. Definitely one of my must haves at some point. Let's see. Started my obsession with cars. Proudly say that I never, not even for a second, lost the interest during those years. I eat, sleep, and dream cars, and my browser history is 99% filled with different car forums and how-tos on YouTube. It's who I am. Well, you can come join my YouTube channel. Let's see. I kind of grew tired of my 435D and started daydreaming about something relatively cheap with a manual gearbox that I could drive during the weekends. I also wanted a convertible. A Corvette C5 Vert sounded like the most sensible choice given my experience with American cars in the past. But for some reason, I started browsing for MR2s instead. They're neat little cars. Honestly, I have no idea why. I just had a distant memory of the W30 being the most opt car in Forza 4 or 5 A-Class Racing Online. Found one a month ago, picked it up on Friday, got home so late I didn't even do the maiden voyage until the day after. But let me tell you. Hey Cletus, welcome aboard. You're not actually late today. I'm late because I didn't start till 10:30. I had some emergency family/work stuff I had to take care of, like picking up my girlfriend who spent way too many hours at work. So anyway, back to this article. I was instantly hooked. I can't honestly tell you that I had more fun in an hour with this car than I've had with all my other cars in the last 5 years. The feeling of the sun hitting on my bald head and extremely precise and short shifts with a combination with sitting just a few inches above the ground is fucking magical. It's not fast, but it corners like nothing else, and I can't stop smiling when I drive it. Yeah, I bet. This is what I've been searching for since I was a kid. I don't want the fastest car with the latest tech. I simply want to have fun, and this car is the epitome of that. I used to laugh when the Miata crowd before, but now I can proudly admit now that I was just being ignorant. I don't know any better, but I do now. I love my car. Yeah, hey, that's pretty freaking good. Miatas, MR2s, you know. Uh, Though, Cletus, I don't know how exciting we're going to be today because, like I said, this was me struggling to make it on live today because I literally got home just after 10 o'clock after driving for the last like 3 hours and got up here. Well, I got my kid to bed and then got up here and set everything up. So it was it was definitely a last minute throw this live stream together. I wasn't even sure. Like I put it up on YouTube a couple hours ago, stating that I was going to be on at 10:30. I wasn't even positive that I was going to make that time, and I almost didn't. I mean, it came really close to not making it, but we're here. We're chilling. Not sure what happened to my friends, but you know, it is what it is. I think he got lost. He said he'd be on soon, but that was a while ago. Yeah, like a half hour ago. So we're surfing the car thread on Reddit at the moment. I did go over the fact that I'm looking into buying some woodworking, like serious woodworking tools. I'm looking for a router, looking for a table saw. Plan on doing some epic woodworking projects, along with still automotive stuff. But want to find something that I can do, you know, after work, you know, down, you know, chill for a couple hours, do a little bit of tinkering. Can't do that with my cars, too far away. So I need something to occupy my mind in between working on the cars. Computer's basically done. Have a few things left I want to do with it. Have a few things left I want to do with the computer, but nothing necessarily performance-wise. It's just more aesthetic things. I'll get to them when I get to them. They're not a priority anymore. The computer works, it runs, it does everything I need it to do. All right, Cletus, I'll see you in a couple minutes up here on screen, and we'll chill and hang out. But yeah, so I don't really have much to do. The main thing I want to do is, right now, my desk consists of 2 Walmart folding freaking, I don't know what you want to call them, picnic tables. It's what my desk is. This isn't even actually attached to anything. This was actually a piece of my old trash desk. Girlfriend has the bottom half of it over there as her desk. She didn't want this top half piece. So I snagged that and stuck it over here just to stack cards and stuff on it. But yeah, I want to actually build an actual solid desk. So I'm gonna need to pick up some woodworking tools. Like I said, looking for a router, looking for a table saw first. Figure those would be the 2 most essential things that I need to pick up. Everything else you can kind of make do without. Those ones, really think you kind of need those, especially if I want to surface some raw live edge wood. I don't have a big planer, nor could I even possibly ever afford to get a big planer, but I know I can plane it with a router and a plywood sled. And can make a plywood sled with a table saw. So you can make just about anything with a table saw and a router. So I figured those would be the two biggest things to pick up first. Everything else, you know, just kind of pick stuff up as you go. You know, need a couple extra clamps, go out and go buy a couple extra clamps. You know, at least you don't have to buy that stuff all at once. I have a couple clamps. I have a regular circular saw. I have a jigsaw. I have a regular hand saw, coping saw. But one of the biggest things that I have noticed that I have needed was just a router. Just the things that you can do with a router that you can't do. Well, you can do it by hand. It's just a lot more tedious. And so yeah, I've always wanted to get into custom furniture and stuff like that. And I think this might be a good time to start doing that. Pick it up, and I got a space to do that in my basement right now that I can set stuff up and have the space to do some woodworking. Yeah, up until now, I haven't had the space to have any good woodworking tools. Just haven't had the space. Most of the places that I've lived at did not have like a full basement and things like that. This place does. So not only do I have room in this house to have an actual office that I can have set up, instead of me doing my live streams in my dining room like I used to, I actually have a space that I have dedicated to be able to do live streams, have my computer set up, and, you know, whether I want to game or do my live streams or edit videos or whatever, I have this space. It's mine. Doesn't move unless I want it to. You know, it is what it is. So, I see a Big E has popped in.
Why, yes, he has.
Yeah, I cannot stand that. That's the default position. Like, we have like a single person. I have this really weird split screen, which really gets weird the more people join. It really starts getting funky.
007 GoldenEye split screen right there.
Yeah, and then we have this one here. And then we have this weird one, which it stacks you guys all off to the side and leaves me big on the thingy. I hate that one. I think this one's for sharing screen, which it doesn't have anything up there. And it's a different share screen one. It'll shove us off to the side if you do a share screen with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just like this normal. It'll just start tiling us in here. The more people will get in here.
Yeah. But
we were just and there's Cletus. You guys are all just gonna join in at the same time. And there be Cletus. He is, and of course we have to point out that he is still our stream boss down below. You can see him down there. In fact, he could point to himself right now. If you point directly down below you, you can be pointing that little to the right there. That's it. And every time somebody else pops up there, he kicks them off.
Yeah. Someone else is like, "Oh, I have a chance," and he's like, "Nope,
shut you down."
They'll catch me one day. They'll catch me slipping.
Yeah, well, they did. They caught you sleeping. They were somebody else up there for one whole live stream.
Beat me out.
Yep, and you just kick them back out. But I was just on here talking. We were actually on the car Reddit for a little bit. And I had just popped back up here talking because, you had popped in. Thinking about going back to actually getting serious about some of the woodworking projects that I have. The last one that I did was that Lane cedar chest. In fact, it's still downstairs, raw, unfinished. I have not covered it in veneer. We had a mishap. Like, I bought $80 in cherry wood veneer. $80 worth, which is an 8 by 4 foot sheet, and the stuff is thin. It's an 1/8 inch thick.
Sounds very expensive.
No.
It is. Well, I had all of the pieces cut out to glue onto this chest. When we brought those pieces over to the new house, we had a mishap with one of the biggest pieces. It got moved wrong and it cracked all the way down through the center. Like, took a whole chunk of it off. So now I got to buy more to do it again. And I just haven't. It's kind of like demoralizing. It's kind of like you just spent $80 and I haven't even used it. And I got to go buy more. So, and the other one of the things is to get veneer to look right, you have to cut it flush. You put it on, oversize, and then you cut it down to flush cut
Very back.
the sides.
Yeah.
I have no way to flush cut that veneer with the tools that I have. A router, on the other hand, obviously does it pretty quickly. You either got to do a router or like a hand plane. If you ever seen those, it just looks like it's
Right.
like it's
a hand planer.
Yeah, it's a blade on an angle, and it's got a flat surface, and you can.
Well, they have the electrical ones, and then they have the ones they used to use back in the day that just have the handle, and you just do it manually.
Yeah, I would probably. I don't know if I would use an electric one at that point. If I had,
Yeah,
if I was
with
going to
that
buy
expensive
something,
wood, you probably wouldn't want to.
right? If I was going to
Yeah.
buy something that was going to be doing that, I would probably just use a belt sander or use a router.
Mm-hmm.
Or just at that point, the amount of hand planing of planing that I would need to do, I would probably just buy a hand one and just do it by hand, because my workflow for woodworking would not be to the point that I would need, you know, a non-analog one. I don't think I would be planing enough to need an electric powered one.
So you're gonna do some of this stuff on your YouTube channel, or are you just doing?
Well,
trying to
yeah,
get
it would
different
definitely
hobby going?
be. It would definitely be on my YouTube. If you've noticed, like my YouTube channel has never said like NOVAtazz Garage
Right.
or anything like that. It's always been like all my logos say NOVAtazz Customs, which I might actually be dropping the customs part and just leave it NOVAtazz. Not that the customs things would still fit, because if I did woodworking or anything else, it'd still be custom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. You don't necessarily need the customs either.
No,
When
I think
people
it's
say your
just-
channel,
I think it's
they
just
just say
cluttering.
NOVAtazz.
Right. I think it's cluttering, because there's no other NOVAtazzes anywhere that I would need
Right.
to differentiate and make it NOVAtazz Customs. If you notice my YouTube name, I dropped the customs out of the new NOVAtazz page on Facebook. It now just says NOVAtazz. I think the only one left that I have to do that with would be, I think my Tumblr, which nobody ever. I have
I don't think
no
people
engagement
really use
on my Tumblr at
too
all.
much. Yeah.
So I'm not really that worried about it. See you later, Lilid. But yeah, so I'm not like, my most engagement is Instagram, and possibly second is Facebook. I still just keep Twitter because a lot of these apps that I use will automatically post to Twitter. It'll mass post to different places, so it automatically posts to Twitter. But as far as actual Twitter engagement, I have like none.
Yeah, and apparently to be successful on Twitter or to get tweets going out, you got to do a bunch, like
Yeah, and
daily.
I'm not like I use social media because it's kind of obligatory with our line of hobby / profession that we choose to do. It's kind of obligatory. If you have a YouTube channel, you got to have these other ones, because you need that exposure, because YouTube doesn't give it to you.
Yeah, I haven't done the Twitter. Well, I have a Twitter, but I haven't been on there in 4 or 5 years probably. I never got into it. I couldn't do it.
I see Jason on there, and I see actually, he's not even an old car auto guy anymore. He's also done the whole simplifying. He's just now old car guy, which is awesome, because it's a lot easier to say, it's a lot quicker, a lot snappier, and it's a lot easier to remember. Old car guy. I love it. Straight Six fan, same thing. He's on Twitter. Yeah, I see him on Twitter too. But as far as that, I don't see much more than that. He's got me on Instagram now. Hey, I post more on Instagram than I even think I post on my Facebook. And it's not just car stuff. I mean, if you're on my Instagram feed, the whole food porn game is strong on my Instagram. There is food all the time on my Instagram, because I love cooking. And I post all kinds of other stuff, but because I like taking pictures too, so there's all kinds of artsy picture shots as well. But yeah, hey, we're up to 6 people now.
I've done some cooking on my YouTube. I've done I did some air fryer videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen
I don't think I've done actual cooking on my YouTube channel. I kind of don't. Just my Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Yeah, well,
Instagram and Snapchat. Like Snapchat, I do a lot of food stuff because it's quick. I can just literally just film. I can just do like a 10, 15-second little clip and then go back to cooking. And then when I'm at the next step, do another little quick. Whereas I would be irritated having to walk around cameras to film a YouTube video with cooking, especially with like the fact that I don't have like an island. If I had a kitchen with like an island stovetop,
right?
Yeah.
So you can get a good angles and stuff.
yeah, it'd be different because my kitchen would be horrible to try to film in. It'd be horrible.
Well, the ones I've done, I do have a little island, but that's the ones I did were specific because I couldn't find a recipe for, like I said, air fryer. And they were still fairly new back then, but I couldn't find a specific recipe. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to make this and put it on YouTube. And they're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
they're like
that's some of the
40
best
and 50,000 views. So
yeah, the videos that you can't find if you're looking for something, those are the videos you make. Let's just talk about the infamous that hasn't been released yet dishwasher video, which I have some good news for you, Cletus. It has made it into the freaking editing studio.
Awesome.
The clips have been imported into the program and have been put in order.
So in January
of 2026, it might actually be out.
If and we watch live it take long. Off, and you get a couple million views on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Now that would be funny.
That would be fun. Like some of my. Okay, so you get my my windshield wiper video for my old Nova, where it has that where you have to lift them up and then you have to slide the clip over and then wiggle them up off. Fucking simple ass video. It was I actually filmed it not long after I started my YouTube channel, and I was still doing the my Nova 4th gen NOVAtazz. No, my 4th generation Nova Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And somebody on there had asked, hey, how do I get these off? So I ran out to my car real quick, threw a video together, went upstairs, edited all the pieces together, and I was going to throw it straight up onto Facebook. And I'm sitting here, and I just started like posting videos to my YouTube as far as actually posting car content. And I'm like, wait a minute. I have a YouTube channel. I want people to start going to my YouTube channel. What better way? Let me throw it up onto YouTube and then throw that YouTube link to the car page.
Well, especially, if you got a specific car like that you're going to keep and continue working on, it'd be good to get into the forums and stuff where you go for information anyway.
Well, I am the forum.
Right, exactly. Where you go to give people information in the forum.
It's like right now,
put your link to your YouTube and say, hey, here it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I went from having 250 subscribers up to over 1,000 subscribers when they had that YouTube when they put in those new restrictions to continue to be monetized.
Yeah,
because I was monetized. I was monetized
back when you used to only had to have 1,000 views.
You had
or
to
something
have
like that.
You had to have 100 views. Not even 1,000 views. It was like 100 views. And you had to have, forget what it was. It was so fucking small. It didn't take much to freaking get over top of it.
Right, and I guess they were paying everybody out like a dime.
Well, you only got paid. You only got paid when your account reached $100. It's still the same way it is today. But yeah, you would get 5-10 cents maybe a month. When you only have that many views. Yes, by the time that I hit 1,000 subs, yeah, I was getting paid every month. Before I had 1,000 subs, when I had 250, because although I only had 250 subs, I had the views.
And back then it didn't matter. I was the same way. I think I had like 10 subs maybe, back when I was actually making money on YouTube. But it wasn't much. It was like $1 a month maybe.
Yeah. So, 100 months later, you might actually get a paycheck.
Right.
But the thing is back then, YouTube cared about content.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about minutes watched. It was about promoting content. So it was about how many people viewed a content, not necessarily how watch time and things like that. Because back then, people that were creative, that did something differently, they got more noticed. Back then, how to do channels were really big because,
Sure.
again, it was.
Well, that's the base of YouTube.
Yeah,
I
that's
say
where
the
it
joke all
started.
the time of YouTube University. I use it all the time. I really do.
Yeah,
If I'm trying to do
and
something
that's
on a
what I used to
car, and
do. So
yeah,
before they did this whole thing where you had to have 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch minutes a year, um, I've always had like 3 times that amount in watch minutes.
right.
But people that make how-to videos have never had a whole crap ton
Of
of subscribers
subscribers.
because
Yeah.
you searched what you wanted to fucking find and you would watch it and you would move on.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about, all right, let me watch this video, and it's a problem with how-to channels now.
Sure.
Is they what YouTube is looking for is that somebody stops, watch one video, and then watches another one and another one and another one, which works great for compilation channels and stupid
Well,
things.
the factory content channels like 5 Minute Crafts and stuff, they're just putting junk out there, just
Yeah, just
filling the
spamming
market.
shit.
Stuff that's doesn't even work. They
Yeah.
just put it out there just because somebody will watch it.
Yeah, exactly. The stupid quick freaking,
And they're making a
stupid
lot of
quick,
money.
no brain, no nonsense freaking content. Yeah, it does. It goes fucking nuts. But
But
you
they're
have.
getting so many views, they're hitting that algorithm, and it's hitting people on their recommendations.
Yeah.
So it just, it's just pushing it out there, and they're getting rewarded for it all over. And
Oh, yeah. There
it's not real
was.
content. It's not real creators.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying, but
There's a channel that I watch that basically goes with, where did these guys go that used to be big on YouTube. And there was this one guy, I guess he started out with making not necessarily a parody, but it was supposed to look something like a Pokemon whatever, but it was just loosely based on those characters, but he had his own story, his own backstory, his own actual story. You know what I mean? The similarities with Pokemon Go stopped at the fact that the characters looked like poorly drawn Pokemon characters.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't start because he wanted to animate. He was a storyteller, and he had to switch to animating because he couldn't get enough actors to act out his story in real life. So he had to draw and create his own characters. So yeah, no, doesn't look like a 5-star production because he's not an artist. He's a storyteller. But
Mm-hmm.
his channel used to get really big and really good way back when before they switched. And then once they switched, now, just trendy stuff gets caught. So then he
Yeah.
started making parodies on trendy topics. Not something he wanted to do, it was just stuff to keep his channel active in between the big pieces of art that he used to like to do.
Sure.
The half hour, 45 minutes to an hour and a half animated stories, which always flopped because YouTube doesn't, because that's not the YouTube crowd. It's where his heart was, but it's not
Right.
the type of people that watch YouTube. And it was a story about how he struggled with, as a creator, sticking to what he liked to do and what he was passionate about versus what the YouTube algorithm wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another video that's floating around about how, YouTube thinks that, okay, the algorithm is great because it connects the audience with the type of content they want to see. And, what they don't realize is that it's more of the YouTube creator trying to chase the algorithm, which is trying to chase the viewer. And all you end up doing is skewing the whole system because.
Well, if you have 5,000 videos out there, somebody's going to watch them. Somebody's going to come across them. That's just a lot of videos,
All right. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like where I'm at this point. I have close to 300 and some videos, and yeah, it's a video farm. It's what it is. It's how that works. I may not get a whole crap ton of money on a particular video, but when you have 300 and some videos out there, as long as somebody's watching something, you're going to be pulling in, even if it's only a penny, 2 pennies, a dime, 25 cents, that adds up after how many videos a month. Yes, I
Sure.
have some videos that make a decent amount of money all on their own. But mostly it's a majority of a bunch of little videos making a little bit of money.
Are all your videos over 10 minutes or?
Since that whole thing came out about
The
like,
double ads and all
well,
that?
yeah, it depends. Way back when, no. In fact, if you go to my
Right.
first couple of videos, which are on the Nova, they're like 30, 40 seconds, maybe a minute or two, because back then, what's editing?
Right.
I mean, this is way back when. What's editing? There was no edited videos on YouTube at that point. It was people posting up clips. That's what people used to post. They didn't post and edit.
Sure.
You posted, you would film something and upload it immediately as a clip.
That's back when anybody can go live too if they
Yeah,
wanted.
no, there was no live. There was no live back then. YouTube did not come out with a live until, 2011, 2012, 2013.
Sure.
And you couldn't go live until you had a certain amount of, again, same thing, you had to be a partner.
Yeah.
You had to be a certain point to be vested or whatever to be able to go live when it first came out. But no, there was no such thing as live right away. It was video clips. It was people just posting up freaking video. There was no algorithm. There was no, people didn't even know they were getting paid. They could get paid for their videos at that point. It was just, in fact, actually the first couple people that got paid for videos, it wasn't because of YouTube paying them. It was people realizing that, hey, you marketed something for us and we'll give you some fucking money because you're exposing us to a large group of audience.
Sure.
It wasn't until Google bought out YouTube that you started seeing ads on YouTube content and people start getting paid for AdSense. Because before Google, YouTube was not an ad supported program.
Yeah.
So you didn't have ads on content back then. They might be ads like, off to the side, just like every other,
even like eBay does or whatever.
Like any other web page out there at the time would have those side ads. YouTube didn't actually start putting ads in content and things like that until after Google bought it. And that's also when when YouTube went from a clip sharing software web page to an actual like entertainment content page.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember that switch. You used to get funny stuff on YouTube, different freaking things like that. But a lot of it was people, individual creators, kind of like TikTok. Just people posting their own creative vibes. You'd have things like how-to videos and stuff like that up there at that point. But it wasn't until Google bought it that it started turning into people actually farming content. Like scripted, freaking, formulated content that they would put out week in and week out. That's when all of that kind of stuff went in. Thought I actually had something on my phone. But yeah, so YouTube definitely changed once, obviously at that point now it's money driven. So you're putting out content that not necessarily that you want to put out, you're putting out content that's going to get you the crowd draw of what you want. I think Cletus died.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's back. Nope, there he is.
Sorry about that. I turned my internet off on my computer.
Well, that was smart.
Yeah. I didn't even know I could do that.
There's a little Wi-Fi button in the top corner. Is that what it was?
There is, yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those too. Yeah, you can't see mine. Mine's right there.
Yep, same place.
And then, there's the regular computer right there. You guys are over here. You guys all freaking dizzy. Let's put this back where it belongs.
Well, I haven't
The
had this
laptop that's
computer
right
that long.
here is that 2011 Alienware laptop that I've always had.
Mm-hmm.
Slow as balls. It doesn't even want to load Facebook pages anymore.
Mhm.
But it's running. It runs my like the stream health stuff. It lets me know how many people are in it. You know how well the stream's doing. That kind of stuff.
You could rebuild it.
At that point, I might as well just start all the way from scratch because everything in it needs to fucking be upgraded.
Yeah.
It's from 2011, man. AMD wasn't even a thing back then.
Yeah, I don't know when this computer. My sister gave me this computer. It didn't work, so I put a new battery in it. It started working, and then
Well,
I
I
put
mean,
a new touch screen in it, and I put a new some new RAM in it and
if
stuff
it's
like
got a
that.
touch screen in it, you mean
Yeah,
like the mouse pad in the bottom, or like the
no,
extra
like
screen?
I could touch the screen and move it. Yeah,
Then it's not that
like
old.
it folds. Yeah, it folds. I could fold it over and use it as a tablet or
Yeah, that's
whatever and
not
all.
that old. That's probably like 6, maybe no more than 6 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. She
I
had
mean,
busted the screen in it, is why she gave it to me. She's gonna throw it away. So I was like, I'll rebuild it.
yeah. Jess has a 2-year-old HP, and even that one, we found out, even that one just being only 2 years old, it's got a steep hill to climb as far as like what me and Jess just built for our two computers.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't
These
think they're
things
gonna
are
get that close.
well, these things are mean. This one, like I said, this is a Ryzen 9 3900X with a 5700 XT graphics card, 32 gigs of RAM. I mean, it can
What's
be
going on,
upgraded
Michigan
more,
mechanic?
huh?
Michigan mechanic just popped in.
Oh, hello! Oh my God, I
Beverages.
didn't even know if he is even still a thing. I haven't seen him in forever. It's been a while. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I must actually be on late enough that some of you guys all start popping in. Oh, that used to be a thing with my channel. I used to have 2 separate distinct crowds. I could literally do my show twice in one night because I would have my like first half crowd and they would all drop off, and then like Big E and them would all come in for the second half. And I would have my whole second half crowd. And like the first half crowd, it was kind of all kind of chill, kind of whatever. Second half crowd, that was the rowdy one. That was when things got kind of it's the end of the night crowd.
Well, and it all depends on where you live too.
Oh yeah,
Like, if you live on the West Coast or whatever, there.
it's just now beginning like 8-9 o'clock. Well, maybe
Yeah.
not now. It's got to be after 11 now.
And
Yeah,
let's see what time it is.
So 3, so like 9.
So
like
at
9
your
over there.
place, it's what 11:30.
Yeah, it's 11:30 where I'm at right now.
It's 10:30 here.
Yeah.
Then you got Mountain Time, and then you got.
Or you get like where Jason
Pacific
Oldcar, it right now it would be like 12:30 where he's at.
Where's he at?
Canada.
I don't know about
Above
Canada
Maine.
time. I thought it was same.
Gotta be Central Canada.
Yeah, he's there. There's if you're up by Maine-ish area, there's actually one more time zone before Eastern.
Ah,
So and he fits in that little tiny time zone.
that's crazy.
Hey man, congrats to him though. They said the lead mechanic at his job moved to open up his own shop, got promoted to his position, and he's been giving me side work. So it's been busy. Hey, good for you, man. Good
Nice.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You ain't got nothing to apologize for if you're freaking out there freaking, making the money.
Yeah. Well, especially in the times like they are right now, you got to do what you got to do.
Like I said, I not that we're necessarily making money because we get paid salary. So if we work overtime, we don't get any more money. But because of the fact of all of the stuff going on and different things, and our job is no longer competitively paid to some other companies in the local area, we've been bleeding staff. So, like I'm a supervisor, so the people under us would be DSPs or direct support professionals, and we have literally been losing them left and right. Well, when they don't show up for work or we have open positions, us supervisors have to go in to go fill those positions. Well, my girlfriend Jess, she works at this one house, and she got a call at like 7, 8 o'clock last night. Hey, this client is going off. She wants to go to the hospital. Something or other happened. Eventually, she didn't get to the hospital as fast as she wanted to, so she went off on the staff there. And the one staff happens to be in the earlier stages of pregnancies, and this client hit her in the stomach.
Mm.
Well, that meant Jess had to go in and go relieve that client so that client could go to the hospital, go get checked out. Jess was also supposed to start her shift this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock tonight. So Jess got stuck there from 8, 9 o'clock last night till 9 o'clock tonight.
That sucks.
No sleep.
And she didn't get paid overtime?
No, you don't get paid overtime. We get paid salary. So no overtime. You get paid the same, week in, week out, no many hours you work. And it's an awake house, which means it doesn't have a sleep shift. Some houses, They have the ability that if the clients go to sleep, you can go to sleep. This one's not one of them. She spent the night in the ER with the client that hit the staff. Now, again, not blaming the client. The client has issues. You know what I mean? It's just everybody had a bad day. But I had to go. The reason why the live stream is so late is because I had to run up there for 8 o'clock because she was supposed to get off at 8. So I'd leave here at 7. It's about an hour and 10 minutes north of where I live is where the house was. So I had to drive all the way up there, take our kid, throw him in the car, drive all the way up there. The lady that was supposed to relieve her at 8 didn't show up until like 8:45. Wow. So I was sitting up in there in that driveway for like 45 minutes waiting for Jess to come out.
Do you guys get like mileage, or do they provide you a vehicle? Or
no, use my own vehicle. They provide mileage if I were to go from my house, my where I'm supposed to be stationed, to somewhere. So like if I had to go get groceries for the home, they would pay from the home to the grocery store back to the home.
But they wouldn't pay for that situation where you had to go to your house to them.
No, because it doesn't count.
It should.
It doesn't, because technically at that point I'm not on the clock.
Right.
I'm coming from home. I'm not on the clock.
I got you.
That was my own personal time to go up. And the thing is sure, Jess could have driven home that day, tonight. But she's been up
2 more hours
9, 10 o'clock yesterday morning.
Yeah, and that would add 2 more hours on what she was doing. So
no, it didn't add an hour because it's an hour drive home.
Well, and then back though, right?
We shouldn't have to go back.
Oh, okay.
She was coming from the house that she was working as a direct care home. But the problem is that's an hour drive home when you've been awake for 36 hours.
I got you. Yeah.
And I'm not even risking what could have happened in that hour.
Sure.
That's not something that's worth it to me to risk. So I was like, no, I will come up. I will come get you. We will drive up there tomorrow to go get your car. You know what I mean? When you've gotten some sleep.
Well, the salary, more time than not is not a great thing. Sometimes it works out perfect.
Well,
and sometimes
it should work. Because technically, we should be working 40 hours a week.
Sure.
And we get like one weekend. We're supposed to work as a on-call one weekend every like 5 or 6 weeks because it rotates through all the supervisors. But with everything going on and the staffing shortage, now is not a great time to be salary. Right. And the other thing about salary is the protections you get as an hourly worker. No more than 16 hours, on shift without a break. All of that stuff doesn't apply to salary.
Right.
So they can work you as long as you want.
I know it's different from state to state, but mostly that's every state almost.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I'm sorry, but anything that applies to an hourly worker should, within human decency, should apply to a salary worker. There's no reason why you should be able to.
You would think being a salary worker you would get extra benefits because you're having to, there's some things you have to do extra. So
well, no, because a salary worker, what they're doing is they're basing you off of only working 40 hours a week.
Right, which never
No.
happens.
No,
well, not
because
any
of
time
the
I've
fact
ever been salary anyway.
because of the fact that there are no things put in place to keep businesses from taking advantage of that.
Right.
When there should be.
Definitely should be. I mean, if it
'Cause you
was
don't get
once in a
overtime.
while,
So it
if
makes
you did it
yeah.
2 months out of a year where
Yeah,
you had to
sure.
work every once, but if you're doing it all the time, then that's taking
Yeah.
advantage, and
Yeah,
they should
it
have
is.
something in place that if you did it a certain amount of times out of the year, they had to give you overtime or they had to give you a bonus.
I think that any hours worked over a certain amount should be, compensated for, whether
Sure.
it's a set bonus or whatever. Now they're supposed to give us comp time for every
Yep.
hour that we work over 40 hours.
But if nobody's there to fill in the time,
Well,
then
yeah, at this point
what's
right
comp time
now,
going to do for you?
this point right now, you can't even fucking take comp time because you're too busy working. But the other thing is it's the Michigan's going night night. See you later. Thank you for popping in. The thing is they give you comp time. The comp time disappears at the end of the year. At the end of the fiscal year, your comp time balance gets wiped. So you have to the end of the year to use it. Otherwise, you lose it. Here's kicker number 2. The way that they do comp time, you can only use 16 hours in a pay period.
Oh wow!
So unless you're, the thing is any time that and every time that you work over 40 hours, you can't use comp time.
Wow.
So basically, you're working for free. That comp time is just a carrot that they dangle in front of you that you never get to touch. If you're working any more than 16 hours in a fucking in a pay period over 40 hours, you're wasting your freaking time because you'll never get it back.
No.
If you're doing it on a consistent basis. It's a tease.
It's one of the big reasons I started my own business. So I'm tired of working for other people, especially being salaried.
This is my own business. It's not taking off enough to pay my bills.
Yeah.
It's almost not even taking off enough to pay for itself. And I'm not even talking about the stuff that I use in my videos. I'm literally talking about just the cost it takes me to edit and produce the videos. Between, gear and tech, computer alone, like Momo's $2,000, to subscription services to different things like the fact that you need to have a subscription to a music company to be able to have anything more than like 5 or 6 fucking usable songs.
Yeah. Which,
when you have 300 and some videos, those 5 or 6 songs gets freaking old.
Really quick, too.
Yeah. Software to edit the videos. Now, granted, right now, I'm using a great program called DaVinci from, Black Magic? I think it's Black Magic. It's a great fucking program, but the downside, even though it's free, the downside is it's a very, very hardware-intensive program. Built this computer the first time, it cost me $1,000 to build. It wouldn't even run this program. It would run it so slow you couldn't do anything. In fact, right now, I have the minimum required graphics card for it, which is a top-of-the-line AMD graphics card. The biggest graphics card AMD makes is in this system right now, and it is the bare minimum of what it requires.
Yeah.
Wow.
It would actually rather you have a 2080 Ti in it, but I'm not affording a $900 graphics card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, but now, granted, my CPU is overkill. It would have ran just fine on the 2600X that I had, the Ryzen 5. It would have ran on that just fine. I've also got 32 gigs of RAM in this computer, which is just barely covering what it's asking for as well. This computer's almost $2,000.
I just upgraded to 16 gigs.
I'm jealous. Jess over here, the one that I built her, that's a Ryzen 7 3800X CPU. It is actually a better version of this graphics card. I have the MSI Overclock Edition 5700 XT. Jess has the ROG Strix 3-blade, the 3-fan version of the 5700 XT. Goddamn, that thing runs cold as ice.
I've got 8 gigs right here. That's what it was in the computer.
There's 32.
I'm not sure what to do with it. What do you do with your old RAM or gigs?
It depends on what it is. Is it DDR3, DDR4?
I don't know.
Well, like I said, if it's DDR3, it's worth almost nothing.
Yeah.
If it's DDR4 and has a decent clock speed, well, that's laptop RAM, isn't it?
It is, and it's Kingston. It's 8 gigs.
Yeah.
What's it running at?
No idea.
There's no HMCZ or whatever it says.
What's it supposed to say on it?
It should have a megahertz.
It does. I sure don't see it.
At that point, you would probably just have to look it up by what model number it is.
Yeah, this is what was originally in this laptop. So,
what's the model number on
it? Is it the model number, the W number, or the P number?
I have no idea.
Okay. Let me see if I can take this one off. Look underneath it.
I was gonna. I have my computer open. I just need a number.
Okay.
Should be right on the sticker.
Well, you got another. It's still doesn't say. It says 4 gigabyte 1R times 8 or 1RX8 PCL3.
PCL3. 1RX PC3L.
No, it says L3 or 3L. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
Well, it goes on Newegg for $20.
Well, I've got 2 of them.
It's DDR3.
Ah.
So it's last gen.
Well, I just upgraded
megahertz.
this to the DDR4
yeah.
16 gigs.
It's 1600 megahertz. I'm running in this computer alone, which is not the fastest you can go. I'm running DDR4 at 3200 megahertz. So twice the speed of that RAM.
My wife's new computer, she just got it. It has DDR5 or whatever. So.
It doesn't have DDR5 RAM.
I would have to look. It's
DDR6 probably.
Maybe that's what it is.
VRAM.
Yeah, it's video RAM.
Yeah,
they've been on GDDR5 for a while.
GDDR5 is actually last. I just ripped my fucking headphone out of my ear.
A lot.
That RAM is actually last gen video card RAM. So like that's like this has the 6 in it for VRAM. GDR6 or whatever the hell it is.
GDDR6.
Yeah, that's the current RAM that the graphics cards are using. The most current RAM that computers are using is DDR4. Like the motherboard.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a difference.
I got you.
But yeah, that computer over there has 64 gigs of DDR4 3200.
Mo power, huh?
Oh yeah, I was so jealous because I couldn't afford that. Mine alone was like $160, $180 for 2 sticks. She's got 4 sticks. She spent like $300 and some in RAM.
Imagine paying somebody to upgrade it for you, though, if you didn't know how to do it.
Oh, fuck no. That's why I do everything myself. That's why I learn myself, because I can't afford... my furniture, if I can't build it, and I can't pick it up used somewhere, I don't have it.
Damn.
You see this thing that I'm sitting on right now?
Mm-hmm.
This is an 8-foot Walmart folding plastic table. Cost like $20. This over here is a 4-foot folding Walmart plastic table. And this is the top half of a freaking $90 Walmart desk that I pulled out of
Particle
the garbage
board.
and fixed. Not even new. I pulled it out of the garbage and fixed it. This here and this here.
Repurposing, man.
Well, yeah, like those two side pieces, I cut out of MDF that I paid like $2 for at the freaking hardware store.
You know, believe
And
it or not, there are YouTube channels that are dedicated to things like that.
Oh yeah. The other half of this desk is what my girlfriend is using for her desk. It's the one that I had in my dining room. Because I didn't have a desk before that. I had nothing. Now, granted, I'm building the desk that'll be here and over there as soon as I pick up the tools to do it. And that's going to be part of the YouTube videos. I'm building that desk. Because, again, even going to the stores and looking at desks and stuff like that, I never can find anything that I like. At least in a price range I can afford. So, yeah, for the price that I can build a desk for, you know, I wouldn't even get a decent desk at Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I'm not going to lie. The tabletop alone on the desk that I'm looking at, just the wood for the tabletop alone is going to cost me a couple $100.
Ooh.
The wood alone, okay, the live edge wood that I'm looking at, a 8 or 9 foot fucking slab, 2 to 3 inches thick, goes for at least $100 a piece. I need at least 2 of them. And the thing is I'm literally going to take a torch to the one the second I get it.
Oh, wow. You like that look, I guess, huh?
I'm going to burn the top. Yes, I'm going to char it. Not that whole, like, charred dark. I'm talking charred as in, like, charcoal charred.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm going to bury it in resin.
It's a lot of work.
You won't be writing on the charred surface. That charred surface is going to be like a half inch beneath the top of the resin.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Well, yeah, that's what I do. It's when I want to customize something, I customize it. I mean, do you really want to know how much work went into that coffee table that I did that was made out of a V8 engine?
Sounds like a lot.
You ever try modifying or cutting into an engine block?
I took a lawnmower engine and made a lamp out of it.
That lawnmower engine's made out of aluminum.
Yeah, it was
not
super
cast
easy.
iron.
Right.
I went through. Okay, so I had to actually buy special bits for my drill. Now, granted, my drill I think is a 1/4 inch chuck. Okay, I needed a 9/16. No, it was. What the hell size was it? It was huge. Maybe 5/8 drill bit, and I ended up buying 4 of those suckers at like $10 a pop.
Damn.
Because cast iron. Shoot them up. And that was just to drill a couple holes to be able to mount the pistons up on top of the deck of the head, the mating surface for the heads.
Right.
Because you take the pistons. Number one, you have to modify the pistons too. Because obviously a piston with the 2 studs coming out of it is not going to fit on an engine block. You have to modify
right, and then
them
you're
as
going
well.
to have to weld the actual piston itself so it doesn't move right on the wristband.
No, mine move.
No?
Mine move. You just
you
cut
want them to
move. You end up cutting the one flap off so that way the pistons, because normally a piston won't, it won't move that far. To where, a piston moving out this will not have a flat top.
Right.
Because the skirts stop it from flopping around that much. So you have to cut the whole freaking side of the piston off so that way when the piston's sitting flat, it's not hitting the rod.
Gotcha.
But then you also have to modify the piston to be able to sit flush with the deck of the cylinder. But you also have to modify the head of the deck of the cylinder to be able to put bolts down through it to be able to freaking bolt the pistons onto the deck surface. And
Sounds like a
that's
lot of work
before, that's even after all of the cleaning you have to do to prep
to
this
get it where
block.
it's put in somebody's living room. Yeah.
Exactly. None of that block is raw metal. That block is painted inside and out, which means also getting rid of all of that oil because paint don't stick to oil.
Right.
You know?
The whole block got sandblasted, resanded, primed, painted after it was modified to be able to fit the parts in it. And all the pistons and everything had to be sandblasted and painted as well. It's painted in cast iron, not cast iron. It's cast iron color.
Just the SPC is what it is.
It's I think it's engine enamel is what I used, but it's for the inside of the block and the pistons and stuff. I spray painted them actual like a cast iron color, and then obviously the outside is Chevy orange.
Yeah.
The orange red that they have.
Well,
like every part of that engine that is exposed has to be painted, and it all had to be sandblasted before it was ever painted.
Right. Well, sandblasting to take it down. If it didn't, it would have like a rust film, right?
Yeah, and you also have to deep clean it as well to make sure you pull all the oils out of the block so that way the paint would adhere to it and everything. It took a while, and you got to remember that engine was a working engine when I pulled it out of the car.
So, would you do it again?
Yeah, if somebody paid me enough. I've even actually tried to sell that table.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's bought it?
Not for the price that I want it, no.
Mm.
I mean, those tables go for $1,200. I was asking $900. I didn't have a buyer. Steve Fast from Hammerdown Motorsports was supposed to, what is it called when you ask somebody to build something for you?
Not consignment. I know what you're saying. I can't.
Anyway, he had propositioned me to build him one for his mezzanine in his garage. I haven't heard anything from him.
Mm.
I'd do it in a heartbeat. I love creating things, and if I'm going to get paid to create things, that's even all the better. Not to mention that would have been a great collab video between my channel and his, at least for me.
Sure.
I've been trying, and he doesn't live far from me. Probably about an hour and 20 minutes from where I live right now, but from where I used to live, it was only like a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, at the time that he was propositioning, I didn't live that far, and I was working down in his area, so it wouldn't have been too hard for me to go down to his shop. In fact, it still isn't. If I get the truck up and running and can use the truck, it doesn't take me a hop, skipping, and a jump to get down there. Especially, I just drove an hour and 15 hour and 20 minutes just to go get Jess from work.
Well, I had a van that I'm junking, and it had 2 captain seats in the middle row with 2 armrests and everything.
Right.
I think I'm going to build a frame and put on some casters, some bigger casters so it'll roll around nice, and have a rolling chair that's an automobile chair. It's going to be heavy, but
yeah,
it'll look good for the car lot.
You ever seen Mr. Fireman? I always forget the numbers out after his name. It's on my channel list. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see it on the side in the recommended, like, my favorite channels.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 164 or something like that. He has a bench seat out of, I think, a truck that he has built a frame for that he rolls around. Now, he has a special needs daughter. She has a trach tube. I'm not sure if it's cerebral palsy or something. She has some sort of, handicap.
Debilitating.
Yeah. I mean, God, that girl him and that girl are adorable, man. He loves her so much. But he built that chair so that way she can hang out in the shop with him. And it's literally just a big fucking bench seat out of a truck. And he has videos on his channel of him wheeling this thing. Like, he lives in like a neighborhood with like cul-de-sacs and stuff, and he wheeled it down his driveway and around the cul-de-sac and back up the drive. It's adorable. One of my favorite parts about watching his channel is just the fact of whenever she's out in the shop, because you can just, being a dad, you just can feel that, you can feel that connection, between him and her. and it's just amazing because again, also being in the field that I work in, I used to work in with people with mental illness. They also had some, physical disabilities as well sometimes. And then the field that I'm in now, where I work with people with intellectual disabilities, again, they also have physical disabilities a lot of the time too.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing how much neglect these guys get from their families most of the time, and then seeing the joy that these two have, it's a breath of fresh air, considering I know how much family tends to ignore people that have disabilities. And then seeing her being very well taken care of. I mean, they have a nanny that comes to the house and takes care of some stuff as well. But, him and his wife take care of their, I think she's like in her 20s. And yeah, it's just, I love it. I'm getting feedback from somewhere. I don't know if it's from me or... But anyway, so yeah, I just find it pretty cool. But yeah, he has a chair in his that is made out of car seat. Oh. But yeah, I've done a lot of artwork in the past. Problem is that everybody finds it nice and cool and everything else until and they want stuff and then you're like, well, it's going to cost this much.
Right.
Because I mean, it's not even a whole lot in charging for labor on my end. It's just parts aren't always cheap.
Sure.
That entertainment that I built, that entertainment unit that I built that I have downstairs with my fish tank and the TV on it, that was $250 in just wood.
Ouch.
That's before I touch a saw or a piece of sandpaper. That was and the thing is, it's not all solid wood. There's MDF in that as well. To save money. The parts that I was going to paint black anyway that I didn't really want shown, yeah, that stuff I used MDF because it wasn't structural and it was supposed to disappear. So yeah, that stuff got MDF. The sides, the back, the supports, all of that stuff is wood. So yeah, that was $250 just in wood.
Yeah, wood's pretty expensive.
Yeah, and then I'm supposed to turn around and be able to sell something like that. For me to turn around and sell that to recoup anything, and you're looking, I'd need to make at least $500 off of that piece, and that's freaking robbing my ass blind.
Right. Well, I've seen people making little stuff out of like pallet wood and stuff like that.
I tried doing that, but the problem is you realize how hard it is to reclaim pallet wood. How much work just before you even get to the point of actually creating something. Just picking up the pallet wood, bringing it home, then separating and pulling out all of the individual boards out of the pallet wood.
Mm-hmm.
So pulling them apart. I actually broke a claw, whatever you call it, the freaking
crowbar.
No, it's not a crowbar. It's the flat ones. But it's used for pulling the nails and stuff out. But it's not round like a crowbar.
Right.
Would be round. It's flat. It's got that shape.
I don't know. We just call them flat crowbars. But
yeah, all right. So flat crowbar, whatever. It doesn't, as long as
that's what we. I mean, I'm not sure what they're called. I'm sure they're called something else.
I literally broke the head off of one of those.
Yeah.
I broke the where the part where it comes up, curves, and comes back down. Literally snapped it off. Trying to pull apart pallets because they use those freaking.
A few things with pallets, but
they use those twisty screws, those twisty nails. They're a bitch to pull apart. And like you can you can go in there with a freaking a sawzall or something and cut through them, but at that point you're damaging not only are you damaging your saw blade. But you still have to get those nail heads out of the wood.
Well, and if you do the sawzall, because I've done that before too, it's hard on the wood.
Yeah, it is.
And if you're trying to get the full piece of wood, it's not going to happen.
No.
So we've done that.
You just cut off the freaking ends.
We get them out. You got to put them through the planer just to get them because you can spend all day sanding on them, or you can just put them through a
Or
good
unless you
sized
want that
planer,
raw
and it's
look to
done.
begin with.
Sure. Most of the pallets we've been getting though are,
Pretty warped.
yeah, they're warped or just stained with oil or whatever, whatever.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the ones
Plus,
that I was pulling up, they're just been from sitting outside, so they're just ashened.
yeah, I was gonna say. Plus, we sit them on the side of the house until we get around to them. So they got, they've been out there
Well,
forever.
that's the whole point. You want them to be ashened. That's the
Yeah,
whole point. That's the whole mystique. Otherwise, you would just get brand new pallets.
sure.
If you don't want them to be ashen looking, just get brand new pallets, and then you don't have any of that character. But at that point, then you could just go buy some fucking 1x4 pieces of freaking wood and just be done with it.
Right. Well, people have been doing stuff like that and selling them and making good money.
Oh yeah, they do. I have all kinds of projects stored in different places on my computer and circuits off of, going to like the different brain not working, like farmers market and stuff where people sell
Yep.
homemade stuff and just taking pictures of some of the stuff that other people did. And I have no problems. I will go in there and take pictures of the undersides of it, anything that's exposed that I can get to. Because even if I'm not going to recreate that piece exactly, knowing how they did something.
Well, seeing what they did and seeing some things you could do better and all. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, or just just learning their technique because you might use that technique somewhere building something that you're creating. A joint that you didn't realize was possible. Or maybe a joint that you can make that somebody else made in a more simpler manner that's more easy to recreate than say something that somebody did with a full workshop.
Sure.
I don't have a full workshop. In fact, you know what I have right now? And that's just what I've used to create everything, including that entertainment unit I have downstairs. I have a jigsaw. I have like a no-name brand jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Craftsman 10-inch circular saw. None of these were new. I bought these things used at a yard sale. I think the Craftsman circular saw is probably from the early 90s. It's old.
Still works though.
It's got an on and an off. That's what it's got.
It's all it needs.
And I have like a handsaw, and I didn't even have any wood clamps. I just bought wood clamps when I was doing the lane cedar chest because I needed wood clamps to be able to recreate the foot that thing has, because it's weird because none of the sides on that foot are perpendicular to the ground. They're all on an angle. The front, the sides, and the back are all at an angle, and then you also had to join them. So none of them are a 45 degree, 90 degree freaking miter. That was a bitch to do.
Well, if you had a whole shop, it wouldn't be, right?
Well, no, it would have probably been pretty easy. I would have just. I did end up cheating a little bit. I went to my the shop where I have my cars. There's an old school Sears Craftsman table saw. Now, it by no means is by no means precise anymore. Right. Whatever precision it had at some point, it no longer has because shit is just old.
It's gone.
So I was able to put the blade on its side to be able to cut, the angled pieces and all that stuff, and I was able to jerry rig a stop to be able to slide them through at an angle. But even though I used a table saw, and even though I had all the angles correct, pieces didn't necessarily fit like a miter joint would normally fit. Freaking 30-year-old fucking table saw that's not been kept like a wood shop would keep it, and everything else. Just, making shit work. So I still had to fiddle with it. And then the wood worked. Like if you look at it right now, it kind of looks like a Z instead of a C because it twisted. Now, granted, when I screw it down to the bottom of the chest, it'll straighten itself back out. But because it wasn't mounted when it dried out, because I guess the wood was still a little green, even though I got it from the harbor store, when it dried, it tweaked it. and so it doesn't sit level when you just leave it on the ground. But I'm sure it'll be fine once I screw it down to the bottom of the chest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just when you don't have money, you make shit work. It's kind of like that whole I still get people commenting on that stupid zip tie video. The one there's still, but the tool is only $10 at the freaking hardware store. Yeah, well, when I actually made that video, when I learned how to do what I did in that video, that tool wasn't available at your local hardware store. You got to think about it. Early 2000s. Could you get a door spring compressor at your local? Geez, Harbor Freight didn't exist back in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
At least not around me. You had Sears. If you wanted to go to a hardware store, you had Sears, Lowe's, and Home Depot. None of them really carried automotive specialty tools, other than your basic wrench sets and stuff like that. If you wanted a specialty tool like that
around here back then was Walmart, which they really didn't have anything either.
Oh, so. Walmart sucks. Walmart's always sucked for tools.
Yeah.
Big E knows exactly that one for this weekend, but yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so to get that tool, that spring tool, you're talking going to an auto body supply store or a Snap-on or a Mack truck.
Or special ordering, yeah.
You had to special order it out of a magazine back then because you didn't have big online stores.
No, you'd have had to call GM in special order or Ford or whoever.
Not a door spring tool. That would have been like an auto body tool warehouse or something like that. Which I said again, Mac Tool, Snap-on,
Right.
And they wouldn't have been $10.
Well, and online shopping has driven down prices of specialty tools a lot. Now, that's what I'm saying. It's driven it down.
When I learned how to do this, it was like 1998, 2000, when I learned how to do that.
Well, you'd have been, what, 18?
Somewhere back then. Yeah, didn't have that shit back then. Freaking 3 zip ties and a freaking bench vise, and you'd be fucking golden.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and even still, you have how many backyard mechanics are going to go buy a tool that you're going to use twice?
Right. Most of the time they make their own tool.
Exactly. You make your own tool. And it's so irritating every time I get one of those. Like, eventually I just started answering them, well, then this video is not for you. Because it's just, I get tired of hearing that same thing. Granted, it keeps the comments on that freaking video.
Even now that you can get tools everywhere,
I still make my own tool. Yeah, because
as long as it doesn't cost me more to make the tool than it would to buy it, then
it depends. It depends on what you consider by cost. Because there's also time cost. There's also obviously monetary value cost. And there's hassle cost, like headache. Yeah, I mean, like for me to go get that fucking tool, the closest Harbor Freight is over an hour away. So, in an hour, I'm sure I can find 3 zip ties and something to compress that spring with.
Well, when I was in the military working on Humvees and stuff like that, they had a tool that would pull the glow plugs that would swell up and get stuck in there.
Yeah.
But the tool, there was one for everybody to share. So every unit had one tool. Of course, if it got lost or broken or what, you were just out.
Yeah, or if you have like 3 or 4 Humvees that you're working on at once, you're sitting there waiting for somebody else to fucking get done with that damn tool.
Exactly, and the tool wasn't great. So we just took some old hammers and stuff like that and made our own tools that were better. And that was much better.
The thing is that's how some of those tools end up being created to begin with.
Well, and what's funny about what you just said there, now the Army uses a tool just like the one we created. They made their own tool off the one that we had or whatever.
If you've watched It's Just a Six, when they did the video for the Viper for the heads, when he was doing the valve train on the heads of the Viper, that tool that what's his name? His friend, I forget his fucking name. I'm horrible with names. The guy with the beard, the guy that reminds me most like myself in that freaking show. He's the one that had the sport bikes and all that stuff. That was like, he was like he's like an old time friend of goddamn the fucking what's his name, the lead guy of the show. Anyway, so he ended up when the one kid basically ditched and ran and deserted the friggin' show to start his own YouTube channel, which I haven't even watched that channel in probably 4 months because I didn't like how everything went down. And honestly, his content isn't that great anyway. I think he was better on It's Just a Sixes channel than he was on his own. He's funnier. But when he ditched, God damn, it's gonna bother me that I can't remember his name. But anyway, he brought this other guy in to be the mechanic. Because obviously, It's Just a Six. He's not as he dabbles in mechanicry, but he doesn't know it. He knows by doing the same thing like a lot of us do. You need to fix something, you learn how to fix it. But anyway, this other guy, he knows his stuff. The tool that he was using to compress the springs was a handmade spring compressor tool. It's not something that he bought. It's he could have been a pneumatic fucking air tool one. I've used those before, but I've used something similar to what he used. It's literally just a base with a lever with an arm that comes down. So what you do is you pull down on the you put the arm that comes down on top of the valve spring, on top of the keeper. You pull the lever down, it compresses the spring, you pull your keepers out, you let it back up, and you pull your thing up. In fact, I think those ones work so much faster than the pneumatic ones that I was using in school. The only problem is it doesn't have like a lock. Like you can't compress the spring, leave it there. You have to keep tension on the spring while you're pulling the keepers out or putting the keepers in. Whereas a pneumatic one, it locks in and it leaves it compressed. You can walk away from it, go do whatever you need to go do, come back to it, it'll still be compressed. But the one like he was using is so much faster because it's just dink, pop it out, let it go. Push it back down, pop your new keepers in, let it go. It's quick because there's no finicky, there's no setup. You just go.
Yeah.
Sometimes your homemade tools are just better that way because they're not over-engineered.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking fucking bench vise and 3 zip ties. I mean, geez. And if you're worried about the spring going flying, you know what you do? You throw your zip ties in, you don't cinch them down, you tie a rag around the fucking spring that you have, tied to something, or even, normally the times I'll just hold the end of the rag, so if the spring goes, it's just going to flop around my hand. It doesn't have that much tension on that spring.
Yeah.
It's not a spring for your car that, is for suspension. It's a 3 or 5 pound fucking spring.
Weight on it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have a whole lot. Yeah, it could go flying if you're not restraining it in some way. Like I said, normally I just tie a rag around it and hold the end of the rag, and it's not going to go flying too far.
Too far.
All right, I think we're connected again. We had an issue in the stream connection. Hopefully, it's not too bad. We're back. But yeah, we've all done that. Fucking, you got the welder, you don't have a welding helmet, you just freaking kind of point the welder there and tap the button a couple times, look to see if you actually did something or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's backyard mechanicking. That's where I come from. I don't come from, nice shop, all of the fucking tools, that's not how I learned.
With an 8-year degree.
Yeah, I don't have an 8-year degree. I have a 4-year VOTEC degree where the freaking shop teacher that was non-existent and out on fucking leave for 3 of those years.
Okay.
I went in for engine technology. When I started the school, it was for engine technology. V8s, things like that. They downgraded it to small engines. Not what I went there for. I didn't want to learn how to work on dirt bikes and lawnmowers.
Oh, 2-strokes.
Huh? That's a
2-stroke engines.
That's a dirt bike. That's a weed whacker. Not my thing.
Yeah.
Not my thing. Not where I freaking get my jollies off.
I hate working on lawnmowers. Actually, I'm good at it because it's easy. But
I'm good at it too. But they're PETA. They're not something I enjoy.
Well, now the cost of them
So,
is so low, it's cheaper just to buy a new engine than it is to repair one.
oh yeah, it
Yeah.
depends on what it is. Um,
Of course, yeah.
you know, an old school Mr. Lawn Boy or something, you know, that's 30 years old, that still works 10 times better than anything that's out today, even not restored.
Well, and a lot of people today, they don't say if they could buy a lawnmower, they put the ethanol gas in it next year, next summer,
Oh
they're
yeah,
just going to go buy another lawnmower if
yeah,
it won't
because the
start.
carburetor's fucking completely clogged. It won't run because you didn't put stable in it because of the ethanol. And yeah, it's not like it was when you were younger mowing fucking lawns where you didn't have to do anything in your lawnmower. You almost didn't even have to change the oil back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you have to change the fucking oil and you have to put stable in it or it's gonna gum up.
For sure. Unless you buy non-ethanol gas, which is,
Expensive as
either
fuck.
hard to find or expensive. So,
Yeah, because at one point I was gonna buy non-ethanol for the Nova, and I'm just like, fuck it. And yeah, my carburetor on the Nova definitely has suffered. It's the one that's on the TA now, and it does not run right. And it's that Elderbrock carburetor does not have that many miles on it.
well, my 84 has the stock
Rochester.
and I run ethanol in it. I just put stabilizer in it every,
Yeah,
I don't know,
you gotta
every
remember,
once in a while.
I didn't do that for the Nova. The Nova was not supposed to be sitting.
I
The
got you.
Nova ended up sitting.
Oh well, my 84 Jimmy sits
Yeah, so
90%
it
of the
sits.
time.
Whereas the
Yeah.
Nova, it went down, and then just like the truck was never supposed to sit like it is now. You know, it wasn't supposed to. It's sitting because it's not a priority on the list right now because of everything else going on. You know, money.
Yeah.
When I bought the Nova, money wasn't a fucking issue. I was making $1,000 every week. You know, I had $1,000 in my bank account at almost any given time, which is, for early 20s, that's a pretty decent amount of change.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then my dumbass thought of chasing the white picket fence family, fucking biggest mistake in my freaking life not because of the fact that I wanted that dream, but because of who I chose to have that dream with at the time. She's literally been bleeding me dry ever since. Internet connection is 100%. No idea.
I know every once in a while on our router we gotta reset it just for it to run smoother. I don't know why.
Well, we have an Eero or whatever the hell it is.
We just have AT&T, so whatever they give us is
Yeah,
what
in
I
fact,
got.
actually, I'm not even getting anything from this saying that the stream went down, like YouTube itself.
Yeah.
Actually, no. At 12:21 it said no data, and 12:16 it said no data.
It looks like it's still running.
Oh, it is.
It is.
It's only
Now.
dropping for a second or so. Did the same thing
Right.
at 12:10. Yeah, it lasts like freaking little bit. Lasts like 20 minutes. It's been dropping every here and there. I don't know if something's running in the background or if there's a actual like bigger issue outside my house. Oh, but it is what it is. Anywho, yeah. So like back then, it didn't really matter me dumping money into an old muscle car. It didn't matter. Whereas today, not to mention the parts that I need are a lot more expensive than the stuff that I needed back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. More parts are going up, also. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like back then, that Edelbrock 650 electric choke cost me, I think, like maybe $230, $250. I think right now that carburetor's, I want to say closer to 300, maybe a little more than that.
Jeez.
I mean, I can go peek real quick.
I bought a few on, we used to be Craigslist. Now I guess you would do Facebook, but I bought a few that people say isn't working right now. I put new jets in them and stuff, and
Yeah, I mean, it just needs a
I'll
rebuild.
resell them.
All right, Edelbrock 650 electric choke is going for, close to 400.
Jesus.
$378
Wow.
for the same carburetor that I paid like $250 for. Now, granted, that was like years ago.
Sure.
No, more like 10
But
years
I'm
ago.
sure it's the same carburetor. I'm sure nothing has changed.
No, it's just the price has gone up, and that's through Summit Racing too.
Yeah. Which is pretty good deal. I mean, you could probably find it cheaper some other places.
I could probably find it used for a lot cheaper.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You know,
Sometimes
the
Amazon has it
non-electric choke
cheaper.
version,
Yeah.
the manual choke version is going for $312.
Mm.
Remanufactured from Dregs, electric choke is $335. So yeah,
Wow.
they're expensive, and then of course now with fuel injected stuff being so popular, you look at that fuel injection kit that I was looking at. That's a grand refurbished.
Mm-hmm.
So not even like brand spanky new in a shiny box new. We're talking,
No, like someone already used it. It's seen wear and tear, and
Well, I mean, it may not even have been used. I mean, if you've ever seen in the refurbished department, some stuff never even makes it to the customer. The box gets dented and gets sent back to the freaking,
oh yeah, that happens too.
That my buddy Dan, the one that we were gonna play SnowRunner with, that's what he does. He does scratch and dent for Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So he does the refurbished stuff. So they get stuff in that the box was never freaking opened, and it gets checked and then sent back out to be sold as refurbished.
Hmm.
I think I can hear your game there, maybe. No.
You know what?
No, I hear a movie. I hear the beginning, like the 20th Century Fox. And Cletus looks like he has a guilty face.
Maybe. That's why I was looking. I didn't hear it, but
Oh, mics are freaking
playing.
weird. I know that we've been playing video games with me and Big E, and every once in a while he can hear a duck freaking quacking.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, damn, you can pick that up? And not actually a duck, just the polite term for goddamn stepping on a duck,
Yeah.
But it's like, damn, you can freaking hear that? Just like try to quietly pat, like that didn't do anything, and it's like, did you just fart? You heard that? But yeah, it is what it is. Oh.
I still haven't bought SnowRunner. I've been playing Mud Runner still, but
Chevy, Big E absolutely gets frustrated with it because some of the physics are a little wonky. But I have
Yeah.
there's not
it
another
looks
game
good
like
though, and you can customize the vehicles and stuff
To a
like
point.
you couldn't before. So,
to a point.
oh, is it pretty limited?
That's not too limited, but it gives you a lot of options. But then it gives you a lot of options, but then there's whether or not you're actually going to use all of those options. If you're given an options of tire sizes from 35 up to 47, and you have a lifted truck and you're going to be dealing with some freaking really, really crappy mud, you're really going to go with the freaking 34s or 35-inch freaking mud tires, or are you just going to go with the 47s?
I mean, if it doesn't cost you any difference,
There's a cost difference, but the cost difference is so little from the smaller ones up to the big ones that you're talking like $1,000 or $2. And by the time you get money like that, like I have like $100,000. What's $1,000 when you have $100,000 sitting in your freaking?
Well, they probably only have the smaller tire sizes in there in case, like,
you don't have the lifted suspension yet.
Yeah, do you haven't found it yet or something?
Yeah, I know it's in there, but I mean, like when it comes down to it, it gives you a lot of choice, but really, how much of those choices are you actually going to use? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to stuff like bumpers and stuff, it depends. If you're going purely for aesthetic, sure, there's a bunch of different possibilities. But if you're going with the fact that you're thinking about this in a smart sense as far as ground clearance, so that way because it actually does take an effect of where that bumper is to whether or not you stuff it in a freaking hill or not.
Yeah, your approach angle.
Yeah, so you're going to pick the bumper that has the higher, that doesn't have
More
as
clearance.
much underhang. So even if you like said bumper, you're probably not going to pick it if it's if it hangs down too low, because you're going to be damaging your engine and stuff every time it bounces off of something. Things like that. So there's a lot of mods, but then there's the common sense choices you're going to pick because this isn't a take it to the mall and fucking show it off game. This is a utility truck game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of options. You might play with them in a free mode or something, but when it comes down to playing the actual story mode, there's certain things you're gonna pick.
I don't know if you guys played GTA online or whatever, but
Used to.
That's a big thing I do is get on there and just customize vehicles.
Yeah, but that thing that those vehicles really don't have that much of a the different options and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't really impact the performance that freaking much, except for obviously the performance mods. Yes.
Yeah,
but the visual mods don't really impact performance, whereas the visual mods in SnowRunner impact performance.
Well, I bought a Honda on GTA. I bought a Honda Civic, and it has a thing where you could stance it, which puts the tires out real stupid like, and it really hurts the performance. Like, it's hard to drive. I'm sure it would be in real life.
I was following a Volkswagen that was all fucking stanced out. And I'm just driving behind it, watching this thing. And the only thing I can think of is, do you remember as a kid when you accidentally stepped on your Hot Wheels car?
And bent the...
and you just spent, I don't know if anybody else did, but I know that I used to spend fucking God knows how long frustrated trying to bend the wheels back.
And then you break it.
Now being known, I know there's actually a tool out there that they use to straighten axles.
Right.
If you ever watch any YouTube videos on Hot Wheel restorations,
that's funny.
You see it. It's a little tool, and it's got just a little notch cut out of it, just big enough for and they just stick it up in there, and they tweak it around and straighten out the little wire, and boom, good as new. If I had that tool as a fucking kid, I'd be a lot less frustrated and a lot less pissed off at my sisters when they stepped on my cars. Because the 4x4 trucks were the worst.
Oh, yeah. Because they tried to sit them up a little higher.
Because they had so much space for
wheels, man, and they used to sit freaking this tall. They would freaking bend easy, man. You could just play with them too hard, and they went, ah. Now I got the loop. They wouldn't roll anymore. Yeah, especially when you had all those nice miles.
Teenagers out there with old toy cars that,
I may or may not still have cars from back then. May or may not still have little Matchboxy cars. This one's actually pretty nice.
Nah, I do too at my mom's.
Well, this one's really, really small.
That's what she said.
But it's pretty highly detailed too.
See, we couldn't really afford the
cleaned, but
I was pretty big into model cars. We couldn't afford to buy a bunch of them, and they were cheap back then, not like they are now. But so we'd get the little Hot Wheels and sand them down and paint them, and
I have
do a customization like that.
But let's see, this one down here, this one, and this one are all those Jada toy ones. The big time line. This one is a so the Model Paint Company back in the day used to put out model cars as well. White logo, black oval with white letters in it. I forget what the fuck it was. I might have it on the bottom.
Testers?
It might be Testers. Actually, no, this is Racing Champions one. This one here. So yeah, no, these two were Racing Champions. I had another one that was a Testers one. But these were quick put together ones. This one here is I don't know if this one's a Racing Champions one too, but this one's like a $90 model.
Wow.
This one's action and performance. But this one, the whole engine's detailed and shit like that.
You did all that?
No,
you bought it like that?
this is bought. The ones that I did up here, actually none of the ones that are up there I did. A lot of the ones that I did, I lost in a storage unit.
Yeah.
Which sucks because those ones were sentimental. I have a few of them down here in this box under here that I haven't pulled out because I didn't have the space to do them. I don't have any, I think, right here on the top. I have a whole box full of die casts like sitting underneath my feet.
We just put a shelf in at the car lot that we're gonna put some on. Some my son did, and I did.
Here's another.
What my daughter did.
It's another big time one. What shirt is this? No, nothing special. What's in my goodie box?
Goodies.
Some more little tiny 124 scale die casts. 164 scale. More 164 scale.
Speaking of tiny things, you know what I saw in the store the other day?
Your penis?
Well, I wouldn't hope so.
I'm demonetized now, but anyway.
Yeah. No, but I saw micro machines, you know, little toys that you send down the track that had actual like ball bearing in the bottom of them. They're fucking huge now. Nothing micro about them.
Right. It's just a brand.
Yeah, when I have some of them. They were literally this big.
Oh yeah.
They were literally the size of a quarter. Yeah, this one's old enough, right? It has. That's supposed to do that. Shut up. It is a convertible. That there is no chrome left on those wheels. In fact, they're actually starting to turn yellow. The chrome has come off of them. That's how old this is.
Hey, they did it in real life too, or they did it in the actual cars too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how old this is, but it's old. It's
Well, I don't think anybody's out buying a. Yeah, I don't think people are looking for a '90s model Mustang. So.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, there's not many people looking for a '90s Mustang anyway. So.
I'll tell you what, they were some of them were not too bad looking.
Oh, people used to love them. Just
it depends. I like the later ones when they went back to the more boxy, sharp angles.
Right. Not the round like the 90. What was it, 93 to 97
94 to 90 to 2002 or 2001.
2002. I don't
know. Oh, that's missing a wheel.
I guess Camaro and Firebird did the same thing, though.
Yeah, I'm guessing the wheel is in the box somewhere still.
I'd hope so.
That's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite body styles.
The Mach 1 Mustang.
Yeah.
73 or so.
72, 73. Actually, no, 71 to 72. 73 was a different one. No, still reaching in my box.
What's in the box, huh?
Yeah, what's in the box? It's a whole box full of diecast cars.
Every time I think of that, I think of the movie, though.
Yeah.
What's in the box? Toys.
Well, it's what's in the box? No, it's a bunch of towels and t-shirts and stuff. Oh, here you go. L88.
You remember what movie that came from, though?
Yeah, it's what's his name? Yeah, I forget what it was though.
7 or something.
Yeah, L88. Missing a wheel as well. I take it this box has not been unpacked in a while, so. Oh, I know what this one is. This is a Viper. Yes, it is. This one I did. All that decal work sucked.
Oh, I'm sure.
And this one's
a sticker?
No, they're decals.
Oh, they're actual decals.
The water soluble stuff. It sucks though, because look how it's so filthy.
Yeah.
The inside, literally, you can't even tell it's gray anymore. There's so much. It looks like it's got fuzzy carpet, and there's no.
You need that
fuzzy carpet.
Like, hold on. Like it's not. It's supposed to be like a light gray, not like a yellow fuzz.
Just have Big E hand you that can of air behind them.
Oh yeah.
Definitely need that. I mean, like, yeah, and the gray is yellowed. I mean, I don't know if you can. It's just
Was it
yellow.
sitting in the sun or something?
Huh?
Was it sitting in the sun or something?
Maybe at one point. Nothing recently because it's been sitting in this box for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see like the decal. You can see where the edge of the decal is. I don't know how well it's coming here. You can, like in between the French flag and the 51, you can see part of the decals yellowed. Even though it was originally clear at one point. I'm running out of space. That's why I haven't pulled them out, because I didn't
need a bigger shelf.
Well, yeah, I wanted to put shelves all up here. I can't put it over here because the ceiling slants.
Mm.
I need to get rid of all these little tiny cards. That's what I need to do. What do I got here? I got a 74 Firebird. That looks like another Firebird. I want to say 68, 69. It's a 69. 76 Firebird, a 69 Firebird. I got a 67 Pontiac GTO.
Well, if you need to get rid of them, you could do them on your live streams.
No, I literally just got these. Shush.
Oh.
These are new.
Oh.
These are newer collectibles. These ones are old. And no, I won't get rid of them. It's this one. This one is a... Oh. That's a... Yeah, Nova. Shoebox Nova. That's actually a really nice one. These ones, Jess got me these ones, so definitely not getting rid of them. Dodge Dart Swinger, the 76, 69, and 66 Olds, then the 67 GTO. I have older stock car ones over here, but they're not going for enough price for me to want to get rid of them. They're in the bottom of this box somewhere. Like, I mean, like 1994 stock car 1/64 scale. Oh. Still in boxes, some of them. I picked them up. Like, I had all of these as a kid that I used to play with, and then I found them when I was older. Somebody had them still in boxes, and I picked them up at a flea market for like next to nothing. So at that point, it was more of just a buy that you would buy something. Like, you ever buy? Well, you're not old enough yet, Biggie. And I don't know. You should be. You ever buy stuff you had when you were younger that you didn't treat well when you were younger, that you bought it again when you were older because you felt guilty, and you liked it when you were a kid?
I bought stuff that I couldn't get when we were just so poor. I mean, we didn't have, we couldn't have bought stuff. But I bought stuff that I wanted to buy back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
no, I don't have a story like that, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
go ahead.
I had a copy of this game a while back, obviously for PlayStation 2, as you can see, but I had a copy of this game. I bought it from GameStop. It didn't come with the case like this one did. Yeah. Or the manual even. Sorry.
You should see the collection of stuff I have.
Yeah, but anyway, I bought it. It just came in one of those little paper sleeves, and after 3 days, the game didn't work, and I was devastated because this game is cool as fuck. Like, you want to drive rally cars? Go ahead. You want to drive monster trucks? Monster trucks.
Which game is that?
Toka Race Driver 3. It's like it's made by the same company that makes Dirt and Grid.
Oh, I never heard of that.
But this is what, 2001? 2005?
Shut up, I was an adult then.
But there's NASCARs, there's tuners, well, I mean, generic NASCARs, of course, and then there's like old SCCA cars.
Cool. There used to be a game on PlayStation 2 and also Xbox 360 that it was a regular Xbox that you could do online, and you can race for pink slips.
I forget which one that one was.
Juiced maybe.
I think.
Do you remember Sega? Was it Sega GT? It was back when Forza and Gran Turismo were just like the Xbox. The original Xbox was still new. It was one of the flagship games that was on that console. And in that one, you could damage your vehicle by, if you didn't like how you raced, your damage carried over after the race. So if you
repaired it.
Well, yeah. So if you used your shit hard, and money wasn't easy to come by in that game. You know what I mean? So you had to.
You had to be smart.
Taught you how, especially early game, how to conserve what you had and where to. Like obviously, race parts would break faster than stock parts, or I shouldn't say stock parts, but low end beefy parts that were better than stock but weren't as like exotic as race parts would last longer than say high end race parts. You'd go faster, but the parts would wear faster. So your first step would buy just beefier parts than stock. So that way they would last more than 1 or 2 races. And then you would go, when you had more money, you would start putting parts into things that would actually give you an advantage instead of just lasting. And also, obviously, the parts would last longer. The race parts would last longer as you learned how to drive better. But yeah, it was cool. I think it was called Sega GT or something along that lines, and it was kind of a Forza-like game. But like I said, it was damaged. There was a damage system in it, and money wasn't easy to come by. So it took you a while to unlike Forza, like you jump into Forza, you can end up in a pretty decent car with not too much playing the game, especially if you jumped into multiplayer games and stuff like that. It was pretty easy.
Yeah, especially in the newer ones where they just hand you crap.
Oh yeah, they fucking hand you. Especially if you have some of the older games and you have that Forza community, or whatever. They just start freaking handing you cash.
Yeah, I mean, hell, in the newer Forza games, you can't even get like a normal, average, everyday car. Like the slowest thing you would find is something they don't even sell in your country.
Yeah, I used to love that about Gran Turismo is because
Forza. The next Forza game, so help me God, if it does not have the Chevy Aveo, and if you cannot stick a freaking 5.7 V8 in it, I'm going to be disappointed. Because they need to go back to that shit like Forza 3. Like, it was an Aveo. Yeah, it had a Corvette engine. So fucking what?
We used to have some. Forza 4 was the best one. Hands down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Somebody should do that.
That was the peak of Forza.
Somebody should take an Aveo and put a Vet engine in it.
Somebody already has, I guarantee you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
maybe
there was a guy who did that to the Chevy Sonic, turned into a rally car.
If you're going to stick a Hellcat engine in a fucking smart car, somebody stuck a Corvette engine in an Aveo. I mean, we're talking back in the 70s, they stuck a 500 cubic inch Cadillac motor in a Chevette.
I used to want a Chevette so I could tell people that I had a Vet.
My mom had a Chevette.
Back in the 90s, Ford was like, oh, hey, we got this old Group C race car. What can we do with it? And then someone's like, oh, why don't we put a 7/8 scale Ford Transit fiberglass body on it and call it the Super Transit 3? And they did. And the thing kicked ass. It was a fucking prototype race car. It just looked like a van. Did it work for marketing? Of course it did.
Well, that's what a lot of these are. Stay up there. Stay. Jeez. This is the second time that I've had something weird to fucking drink, and we haven't had it on the thingy because nobody has been here. And I drank it all.
I drank all mine, too.
That's okay. I have a giant-ass bottle, giant-ass cup of soda from McDonald's, right?
Yeah, that $1 soda that cost them like 10 cents.
The $1 soda with the $33 bottle of alcohol.
That's some good Jack, though.
I've never had it. I've had sips of it before, but I never bought it.
That's all I buy. I don't even buy the regular Jack Daniels. I don't drink that often.
This shit's
freaking. You could be on like another plane of fancy. Okay, like, nothing hits quite like McDonald's Sprite does.
This little bottle, right? Which is about the same size of a regular bottle of Jack.
Sure.
That was $33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's $33.
Yeah, but I'd still rather have the gentleman myself.
Yes, I know, but I can get
smoother, better.
I don't know. Captain is pretty smooth to begin with.
But it's a different alcohol too. But it's like Captain.
Rum versus whiskey. Now, granted, there's a big difference between regular Jack and that Jack.
Yeah.
Regular Jack is a little rougher and doesn't kick as hard. That shit kicks.
Now you could drink some Jim Beam, I guess, if you don't like the bite that Jack had.
Oh, I've drank Jack since I started drinking alcohol. So I don't really mind the bite that Jack has. In fact, I like an alcohol that bites.
Yeah.
You know, it's the whole.
Well, Gentleman's Jack doesn't have that bite on it. It's smooth.
No, this is smooth, but it kicks.
Oh yeah, it definitely will sneak up on you.
This shit is fucking potent compared to regular Jack.
Well, and they have the single barrel as well, which is okay. It's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But I like Gentleman Jack better.
The
single barrel's out of one barrel, I guess.
Yeah. And, sometimes they'll switch barrels. But
sound like you talk about shotguns.
This one is double done, so it spends some time in one barrel and then they switch it to another barrel.
Right. Well, that single barrel's more expensive, and I don't think it's as good as the Gentleman Jack. So I wouldn't pay extra for it for sure.
You ever had the Honey Jack?
I have. I like it, but I like Gentleman Jack better. I'm just a big fan, I guess.
It's gotten to the point now to where, you know, like I used to buy alcohol that I liked that was cheap. Why? Because I couldn't afford to buy something. I had some extra money. I'm like, you know what? I've wanted to try this. I've wanted to have a bottle of my own for a while. I haven't bought any regular Jack in a while. Because I've been nursing this freaking captain over here. And so I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it. Well, it's also the same time that I bought what's in this cup that I was drinking as well. Because it's another guilty pleasure drink of mine. Technically, it's not a strawberry daiquiri.
Technically.
Well, technically, because it doesn't have the right alcohol in it to be a strawberry daiquiri. Because a strawberry daiquiri, you got to use rum.
Mm-hmm.
It's not rum. It's tequila.
Getting all technical all up in this business.
No, it's tequila, which makes it a margarita. It's a strawberry margarita. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah. Probably in Margaritaville.
Well, it's a strawberry margarita with probably, you know, those big bags of frozen strawberries you can get from Walmart. Like the ones
big bags of what strawberries?
Frozen strawberries, frozen whole strawberries.
Oh yeah.
Like the ones that are.
I mean, I did work in frozen, so yeah.
Yeah, like the ones that are like the size of my laptop, that big bag.
Yeah, the what is it, the 64-ounce ones?
Yeah. Well, this is the big bucket of strawberry daiquiri / margarita mix. I know you used to see them a lot when I was younger, but it's a big bucket with like a pour spout in it, and you just add alcohol. And you pour it into the bucket. Well, it's that bucket with a 750 milliliter of, or whatever, the normal size alcohol bottles of Jose Cuervo's tequila. Clear. And then it's almost a whole bag of those strawberries pureed. Mixed in. So... I mean, the bucket in the tequila itself is good, but you add the freaking pureed strawberries in with it, and then like you let it freeze most of the way because it won't actually freeze because of the alcohol. Oh yeah. But you let it sit to where it's gonna be as cold as it's gonna be getting. And then I take one of those like hand blenders, like the stick blenders.
Mm-hmm. Immersion blenders.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've already blended the strawberries and thrown all that stuff in there together and let it almost freeze. Mm-hmm. Then I go in there with the stick blender after it's frozen, and I just go in there and all the way through it, and it just turns it into an alcoholic Rita's water ice. It's basically what it is. It's an alcoholic Rita's water ice.
Do they have dry counties where you guys live?
Negative.
No. Because if you had a dry county where I lived, you would just have a bunch of undercover drunks.
Undercover drunks.
I live in a dry county, so we got to drive to the next county over to get stuff.
It's kind of dumb.
You know what would that happen in Pennsylvania if you did that shit? People would be making their own.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, we don't have dry counties here in
Arkansas is small, so it doesn't take a second to drive over. But
yeah, but we don't have dry counties here in Pennsylvania, and we still make our own.
Can y'all buy liquor on Sunday?
Yeah. Liquor? No, because well, you can wine and shit. You can, but we have what are called wine and spirit stores, which are government run. So things like tequila and things like that, you can only get there.
You can't buy alcohol at all in Arkansas on Sunday.
Right, but you can buy beer, you can buy wine. There's some grocery stores in here in PA where you can buy beer and wine and things like that. So if it falls under that category, like wine coolers, shit like that, you can buy that shit every day of the week. You know, and even if a beer distributor wasn't open, I guarantee you there's a bar that'll let you walk out with 2 6-packs. You walk out, you go in, you buy 2 6-packs, you bring them out to your car, you go back in, you buy 2 more. You just can't buy freaking more than 2 6-packs in one purchase.
Really?
Yeah. There's a way to cheat that system. You just go out the door, you come back in.
Yeah.
You can't walk out the door with more than 2 6-packs in your hand. You just,
at a bar, you're saying?
Yeah, at a bar. At a bar that sells over the counter.
Right.
Like I said, you just walk out to your car, you put it in your car, you walk back in, you buy 2 more.
Yeah.
You just got to make several trips, that's all. They don't care.
Right.
Technically, they're following the rules.
That's crazy.
But yeah. So, yeah. But if you've ever heard of Boilo,
no.
not like boiler, but Boilo.
Never heard
of.
That is a cold country, technically bathtub drink. Because technically
Gross.
you don't make it in a dirty bathtub. I mean, come on.
No,
but it's
down
made
here
in a bathtub.
They make Mountain Dew. So
right, it's made in a bathtub, but it's not always technically what you're considering a bathtub. Most of the time, it's what you consider an old school bathtub.
Right, a trough.
Yeah, but it's made in that because of how much you make in one shot. And how it's made. But yeah, basically it's a home brewed fucking like warm alcohol. It's supposed to be served warm. And I think the closest thing I compare it to would be like a raisin based apple pie moonshine kind of thing. But it's got like honey and a bunch of other stuff. And I'll tell you what, if you've got a cold, this will kick the shit out of that cold. You won't have a cold very long. Huh?
It doesn't sound very good.
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's sweet.
But you lost me at raisins.
Well, some people put raisins in it.
You could put prunes instead.
Let me see. Okay. Boilo is... It's actually made right here, like not far from where me is where it started. It is 4 cups of water, 4.5 pounds of clover honey, 4 medium oranges, 3 lemons, 1 cup of raisins, 6 sticks of cinnamon.
So it's prison hooch.
I guess. 1 teaspoon of caraway seeds, 1 teaspoon of allspice berries, half teaspoon of cloves, and a half gallon of grain alcohol.
That sounds really sweet, actually.
It is. And it's, dude, if you have a sore throat or a cold or anything that has you under the weather, and you literally drink this out of like a coffee mug. You know, it's not you put it in the microwave, you warm it up, or you put it on the stove and you warm it up. You obviously you're not boiling because you boil the alcohol right out of it. You're just warming it up.
Yeah, alcohol boils at 92 degrees.
Right, so you're just warming it up to like warm tea. You know, good cup of coffee warm. And oh my god, this shit will literally make you will be ready to go outside and go do whatever you need to do in the middle of fucking winter. And 5 minutes ago, you were like, your throat was killing you. You wanted to fucking curl up in bed, you know? That's what this drink is for. This drink is the get you back out and on your fucking game drink for cold crackers.
You should see if it'll cure the coronavirus.
I'm sure they might have tried. There was another Spanish drink that somebody introduced me to. It's kind of like It's kind of like an eggnog, but it's not.
Mexican eggnog.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's more cinnamon based.
Horchata?
I'm not sure. It might be.
Rice milk?
Latin egg nog like drink. Coquito?
Coquito?
Couuito.
Never heard of it.
Rum and coconut milk.
Must be like a Puerto Rican or Cuban thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a Latin thing. Yeah, it's like a coconut eggnog. I don't know. It's freaking awesome. But it's another one of those ones that you don't drink a whole lot of because it will sneak up on you. But yeah, I don't know. I like trying different things, and I'm a big fan of eggnog. I love actual alcoholic. Yeah. I mean, I'll drink eggnog, a non-alcoholic, like crazy during the winter.
Gross.
But
do you eat fruitcake too?
Eggnog, I love. Huh?
Do you eat fruitcake too?
No fruitcake.
I don't think anyone fruitcakes besides actual fruitcakes.
I hit somebody in the head with a fruitcake.
Well, it's a good use for it. They're useful as a weapon. They're practically useless for everything.
That's why we have them in our houses. So when somebody's intruding, you just chuck it at them.
Yeah,
I've had
for
a
real.
fruitcake that was good actually one time.
There are actually really good fruitcakes. Fruitcake gets a really bad rap because it all depends on how it's made. Honestly, it's just freaking jellied fruit.
Right.
Mixed into a cake batter. It's not actually that bad. If you've ever actually had fruitcake, it's not that bad. The old fruitcake is what gets that's what gets the bad rap. Or the store-bought shit that's like freaking a brick. It's a pretty brick.
Load up a cannon with that shit and stand at the front door. Someone breaks in, they're gonna get a rude awakening.
Mail order catalog fruitcake.
See, now where I come from, it's a Yule log. And it's not technically called a Yule log. What do we call it?
I think a Yule log is what they call it. It's a thing in French tradition.
If it's a true Yule log, it doesn't come from the French. It comes from Celtic.
Comes from what?
It's a Celtic.
Oh.
It's a Celtic thing. It comes from, like the, what is it called? Like where the Vikings and shit come from.
Norse.
Nordic. It's a Nordic tradition.
Yeah.
Have you tried that honey, the mead or whatever that they drink?
Yeah, I just had some the other day actually.
No, of course you did.
That's pretty good.
We did. We went out to like it's a pagan seasonal celebration. I think it's a midsummer celebration. And yeah, the basically the end of the night you all have a toast with mead. Nordic ware Yule log. So yeah, in fact, actually, that's exactly what it is. The Yule log comes from directly from Nordic traditions, which is pagan, which is way before Christmas.
Way before we celebrated the birthday of Jesus.
Well, Santa Claus. Almost every single Christian, and I might piss off some Christians here. I might not. Almost every single Christian holiday dates back pre-Christianity to a pagan holiday that they have converted to
Halloween.
Yeah, they just change what they want, and they're like, pagans have this holiday. Oh, let's change this up a little bit.
That's a Latin that actually literally straight comes from the Day of the Dead. But yeah, I mean, but Halloween itself, the timing is that's a fall festival. That's straight out of pagan, yes. But the sensationalized part of Halloween, that part is Day of the Dead stuff.
Sure. Well, I don't know. We don't celebrate a lot of the holidays around, me and my family, just because it's all consumerism now.
Well,
it's all spend that money.
You go back Easter. That's another freaking seasonal holiday for pagans. It's the celebration of life, I do believe. Basically, Mother Nature coming out of hibernation kind of thing.
Yeah.
Almost every single one you can date it back and you can find it had an actual meaning in pagan history. In fact, the funny thing is like Christmas. Did you realize that was a typical Robin Hood holiday?
Oh.
Yeah. The poor would raid rich settlements, steal all their shit, and spread it around to everyone in the community. And then have a big celebration.
Cool.
I could see why Christians wouldn't want to pass that tradition on.
Yeah.
That's exactly the opposite of what the reason why Christianity religion started, which was to control mass populations in early times. So yeah, I could see why they wouldn't want that holiday. Overthrow your leaders, steal all their shit, and have parties in the street. That sounds like perfect. It's exactly what we want. But all right, what time is it? It's going on 1 o'clock in the morning, isn't it? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get off of here. The live stream definitely took a complete left-hand turn somewhere way back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually was not expecting this live stream to actually do too well tonight. In fact, we have 4 people in the live stream right now. I think we've only had a couple for a while now. Don't really care. I had fun chit-chatting with you guys up here on the screen.
Yeah.
Hopefully whoever watches this live stream later gets to enjoy it, because if they waited all the way out here to the end, it got pretty good at the end. Beginning was kind of slow. But all right, thank you guys for joining, and we'll
welcome.
catch you next time.
Take it easy.